Welcome back to another video. My name is Theo and today I'm going to talk about my eating habits from the last 6 years, starting in 2014. I just wrote down some notes so it will be easier for me to talk about my habits and what changed in which year. And yeah, so let's get started. In the end of the video, I'm going to tell you what my eating habits will look like in this year, in 2021. But before, we're going to start back in 2014. And in this year, or in the years before, in that time, my eating habits were really bad. I basically ate everything that my friends or my family ate, and I wasn't thinking about food at all. I ate really ridiculous stuff, like, yogurt with gummy bears or white bread with ketchup and meatwurst, and it was nasty. But in 2014, I already stopped drinking alcohol for 2 years. I stopped drinking alcohol in May 2012, and yeah, I was caring about my health, but I didn't really recognize that food could play a major role in this game. So I just ate whatever I wanted. I was in love with fries and chicken nuggets, and I just ate really ridiculous. I had incredible late times after practice and horrible year. Then it was 2015, and I'm really thankful for a few people who made me overthink my eating habits and start to see it more as like a fountain or something that will give me energy and not just something that I do for lust and pleasure. So in 2015, I started to eat less nasty stuff, and I went pretty hardcore with no candy. I didn't want to eat any candy at all, like gummy bears, chocolate, ice cream, and everything that seems to be not good for your body. I just crossed that out of my diet, and as I said, it was pretty hardcore. I got introduced to to really good things that I didn't like at that point, like spinach, asparagus, or kale, all the green veggies that are full of energy and full of good things that will help our body to recover. I just didn't like them. I feel like I won't like them because I didn't eat them before, and everything that I didn't eat, or my family or my friends didn't eat, were like things I wouldn't like. So in that year 2015, I got introduced to a bigger world of veggies and that there is stuff that I like. And yeah, that was more like a shifting point, like a turning point in my journey. Next came 2016, and 2016 was a year where I started to reduce my consumption of meat. At first, I just wanted to get rid of meat on my bread, so I was just going for chicken nuggets and burgers and everything that is like a full meal. And on bread, I went for cheese and jam and all the other things that you would put on your bread. And I started to figure out not to eat white bread, but like grain bread. All right. And yes, so later in that year, I reduced my meat consumption to like a minimum. I just ate meat when I was with my family, or when I went to a restaurant with friends and someone ordered like a big plate and there was meat on it, and then I ate it. But I wasn't buying meat for myself anymore, or I didn't prepare meat at home. So I got rid of the fast food stuff, of white bread, and I was overthinking, like, not to go vegetarian, but to get rid of meat in most cases. Yes. It was about January 2017 that I turned vegetarian. At that point, I just ate meat due to reasons of courtesy, because I was with my family and someone just prepared a huge meal with meat, and I just didn't want to eat it, but I just did it out of courtesy. And I figured out that this shouldn't be the aspect of eating something, just to do it because someone else wants you to do it, or you feel bad if you don't do it. And yeah, I thought that meat wouldn't be good for my body anymore, so I just skipped that out of my diet, and I just went vegetarian. And it wasn't that year that I wanted to figure out more about what I'm putting inside of my body, in my mouth. So I started to read the backside of every product that I buy, the ingredients list, and I didn't understand anything. It was just that I wanted to educate myself. And so this was the first time where I started to cook at home. I prepared huge salad bowls for this day and the tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, just to have like a good base of salad. And yes, what else? Yeah, it was just the first time that I started to prepare meals. And this was also the year where I started to get rid of soda. So as I said, in 2012 I stopped drinking alcohol, and in 2017 I started just drinking tea and water with no gas. So this is just tap water. In Germany the water quality is really good, so you can drink it just out of the tap. And I just, yeah, like it's over 3 years now that I haven't been drinking any soda or whatever. So I like tea. Tea is good, no coffee, no what else, just water with no gas. I figured out that gas is something that I needed to learn to like. So once I got rid of it, I understood, like every time I had to burp when I when I drink water with gas. So I figured out that my body isn't really going for gas. It's just something that I trained myself to enjoy, to like. So I just drink water with no gas from the tap since 2017, and I believe that this was one of the major key factors that made me have a better diet, because there's so much sugar in all those soda drinks, and I don't want to judge, it's all good, but I just don't think that there's anything positive in those drinks, so I got rid of them. Then it was 2018, and in this year I turned vegan in May, and the reason why I started to start a vegan diet was due to health issues. So in this year I had my second knee surgery, and they tried to fix my meniscus. It was like cut broken, and they just tried to sew it. And I was lying at home in my bed, and I was just thinking, how can I recover from this injury, and what can I do to make the recovery better and easier? So I read a lot, I researched a lot, I listened to a lot of podcasts, I read some books about nutrition and diet and health, and everywhere it was the same, like eat a lot of broccoli, eat the green veggies, get rid of all the milk and candy and meat products, and just go for what nature's give you. And at this point my mindset, like the root for my mindset that is still active in those days, were created in this year, in this transition where I was recovering from my injury. And it was there before, but I just didn't want it to believe it. Like, yeah, it can't be that those things that I eat are not good for my health, because we were hunters, and I was like the humankind was eating this stuff since thousands of years, so it should be good for me. And then I figured out like how the animals suffer. Then I figured out how the animals are fed without the antibiotics, and like that what I eat is not what I think that I'm gonna eat. So it's just like, it's like a dream world, right? Or like a nightmare world. So yeah, it was health issues why I turned vegan. And nowadays it's more because of the moral or ethical reasons, because I just don't want someone else to suffer, may it be like a little cow or like a pig or a chicken or whoever, just because of my lust for taste. And I actually don't want to eat meat anymore, because like I got rid of the taste, like it's not something that triggers me. I would always prefer like a bowl of fresh fruits, like an apple, banana, or like everything that looks like colorful and tasty. Like my mouth really starts, like, you know, I want to eat when I think about this. And when I think about like a piece of meat, yeah, like I just don't get triggered with it. So yeah. And in this year it was also that I started to tell everyone how great it is to have a vegan diet, and that was pretty annoying, I guess. Sorry to all of you that I disturbed with my enthusiasm towards veganism, but I thought like it's the real perfect diet for everyone, but it isn't. It was just like my opinion. And so I didn't want to talk about veganism or the word vegan at all, so I just looked for something else that makes sense to me, and it's called whole food plant-based. All right, so it wasn't just that I went vegan and ate all those tofu things and everything that looks like meat but isn't meat, and vegan cheese. I just went for like whole foods. Like, what does nature give me? It wasn't like just going for an apple that just fell from a tree. It was like, try to eat all colors of the rainbow. Try to eat every seeds and nuts and veggies and fruits that you can find, all right? So it was whole food, plant-based. This was my strategy at that time. And after all those research, I figured out that food is going to play an important role in my life in terms of health issues and health aspects. So I started to get rid of all the processed and industrial food, like industrial sugars. I didn't put any jam or things like that on my bread anymore. I just went for, as I said, whole foods, and tried to eat like fresh, seasonal and regional stuff that is provided to serve me with energy, and not just something that will play with my taste and enjoys me and gives me pleasure. Then it was 2019, and I still went on with the vegan lifestyle, and I tried to dig deeper in the biology of nutrition, and I created like a timetable of what to eat at what time to make sure that my body gets all the nutrition that I need. And I was thinking more about like, what can I do instead of just putting food into my body? What can I do with the food, and how should I eat it to make it more and more a fountain of energy for my health? So in that point, I got introduced to things like intermittent fasting, and I went pretty hardcore with that. Nowadays, I still do intermittent fasting. It's like I have a break of food for 16 hours and I eat within a window of 8 hours. And at that time, I went crazy stupid, like 19 or 20 hours with no food because the feeling in my stomach was so cool when it was like empty, and you are light and you can think easier and you can move really well. So I was going for really long times of no food, and then I had 4 to 5 hours left to eat like 3,800 calories in that time, and I just like had a huge bowl of oatmeal, and after that I had those chickpeas and my salad, and everything was just so much overwhelming, and I had to eat that all in 4 hours. So afterwards I just felt miserable. Yeah, I just mentioned oatmeal. 2019 was the year where I fell in love with oatmeal. My oatmeal looks like just a huge bowl of oats. There are seeds in it, and there's coconut, and there are nuts, walnuts, peanuts, and like berry fruits, those dark fruits. And there's a banana on it, and then I put hot water on top of it, and then I go for some soya yogurt, and it's just this huge massive bowl that I eat every morning, and I really enjoy it. There's a lot of energy inside, a lot of calories, and it just serves me with a good start. So this was what I was eating almost daily every morning since 2019. And it was also in this year that I stopped going to restaurants, like in most cases. I went there maybe like, I don't know, 3 or 4 times in a year, maybe, just with family, or if there was something to celebrate, then I went for a restaurant. But most of the time I cooked at home. I would say like 90% or something or more. And I really knew exactly what's inside my food. I just prepared it myself in my kitchen in my home. I put everything inside that I think will be good for my health. And I just didn't eat anything outdoors, or not much. 2020, last year, what did change from 2019 to 2020? Not that much, I would say. So I'm still doing intermittent fasting, or I did intermittent fasting in 2020 and will continue in 2021, but it was more like a natural thing. So it just comes because I feel when I start to feel hungry, then I start to eat, and I just try not to eat after 6 p.m. because when I will go to bed at 9 p.m. or something, I just don't want to have like a huge meal inside of my stomach. So I try to eat in this window in most cases. Then we have the veganism aspect. I would call myself a vegan, a person who's on a vegan diet, but I don't take it that serious anymore. So I wouldn't go and buy cheese or an egg or like a cup of milk and drink it. I wouldn't do that. And no fish, no meat at all, for sure. But like if I'm at a friend's house, and they prepared a very beautiful meal, and they tell me that, or let's go for pancakes, and they tell me that there's some egg in this pancake. I would just eat it. So like, it's the same if grandma makes a beautiful cake on her birthday and you visit her, then you're gonna eat the cake even though it's sugar and not good, you know. It's grandma. And so I do consume some milk or sometimes cheese or egg if it's like inside of a meal that someone else prepared. Then I will just say, okay, I'm fine with that, I'm gonna do it. It's not that often, it's just when I'm with friends or family, as I said. And for myself, I wouldn't just buy or cook those things still, but I can't tell, or I couldn't say that I'm 100% vegan anymore, because there is some not vegan food that I'm gonna consume during the year. So that's what happened in 2020. Oh yeah, there are two more aspects. The one is protein. When I started to get on a vegan diet in 2018 over 2019, I was in this world where I thought I need to be fit, lean, and huge, right? So I want to show the world that there is a possibility to be a super athlete on a vegan diet, and so I wanted to look like a huge, amazing athlete. And I did all those crazy pulling works, not for aesthetics, more for skill, as my mindset is, as always. But there was still some type of ego. That's exactly what it is. It was ego that I told myself that I need to look a certain way to spread a certain message in the world, right? And that's all what it is, ego. It's like comparing yourself to someone else. And the protein that I get out of my diet is totally enough. And it's super good if your body is flexible and you can touch your hands behind your back and you are not pumped and there is not so much muscle in your way, right? So I just got rid of that idea that I need tons of protein. So I just eat what I feel like a lot of fruits, a lot of veggies. Of course, there are beans, there are chickpeas, there are lentils that do have a lot of protein, as well as my oatmeal, but I'm not counting for that anymore. It's just like, I go for what my body feels like it's right, and I'm good with that. And one more aspect is fasting. So I don't go for long fasting periods, like a week or something, or like 3 or 4 weeks, what crazy people do on the internet. I don't know anything about this, I can't tell or judge, but I go for short fasting days, like 1 day, maybe 2 days, 2 days, not often in a year, maybe like a couple of times. But I do this in most cases when I feel sick. I haven't been sick at all for like 2 years or something, but if I do, then I try to fast, or if I go on a flight and I know there won't be any good food on the airport, so I'm just going to fast. That's what my mindset is about in this case. So to sum it up, the difference between 2020 and 2019 was that I feel like I got rid of the too excessive, too extreme stuff in 2019, like counting the calories and going for all those excessive things, and just try to find some balance, like, you know, yin yang, everything is fine, and just go with the flow. So I'm still vegan, I'm still doing intermittent fasting, I do fast, and I look for ingredients, I got rid of industrial stuff, I eat a lot of fruits and veggies, but there is not too much pressure and not ego behind it. Very important, no ego. So what do I gonna do in 2021? I just wrote it down. I think I understood that food is simple, right? Food is simple. There are so many diets and plans that you can buy, and everyone tells you, no, this is the perfect idea to get rid of fat, and you're gonna build muscles in 2 weeks with this diet, and it's all crap, right? It's just, food is simple. Just eat what nature gives you and what you think or what your body feels is good for you. And then it's just like a discipline aspect. So don't go for candy, go for fruits. That easy. So what I want to do is, I would like to be more thankful for my food. Every day I have food on my table and I'm not starving, so I just want to be thankful for that. So what I do before I eat is, I just take a second, maybe I close my eyes or not, and I just thank the universe or myself or whoever for this meal, and that I have something to eat. That's great. And I would just like to make like eating habits a positive thing, where I try to smile and be happy about eating, and you could say it's like a prayer or something. So this is what I would like to do in 2021, and I definitely would like to learn how to chew food. Most of the time I'm just putting some food in my mouth and I just bring it down into my stomach. So I really need to learn how to chew food, how to enjoy it, and I want to be in the present moment when I'm eating. Most of the time when I eat, I'm having a conversation and I talk way too much, or I'm just looking a video or a movie on YouTube or whatever, and I'm distracted. I don't really eat when I'm eating, right? So I would like to change that. So be focused, chew your food, and be thankful. Those are 3 aspects concerning about my food habits that I would like to change in 2021. Yes, and one more aspect is I would like to stick to the rule of 4/5. Is that what you say in English, 4/5? Because in many cases I tend to overeat. So if there is a lot of good food and it's like buffet, or I just cook a huge portion, and then I go for like 1 round, maybe 2nd round, maybe a snack afterwards. So my stomach is super full and I feel miserable afterwards. So I just would like to be disciplined again and don't overeat. Just eat as much as I need to feel good and that my body is full of energy and everything is fine, and don't eat too much. That's a good idea, I guess. I believe it is. Yeah, so let's just remember and keep in mind, food is medicine. Animals suffer because of our lust for taste. No one needs to eat a certain way of diet to create a body that is not healthy. Like, aesthetics are not as important as health. And in the end, fasting is great. Enjoy your meal, cook at home, and be thankful. This is what I would sum up everything that I learned about food in the last 6 or maybe more years. Maybe this was inspiring to you and you would like to change your eating habits as well. Maybe you think veganism is totally trash. Maybe you think you suffer because of the things you eat. Just let me know in the comments. And yeah, maybe you can tell me if this was interesting to you and you would like to learn more about my mindset and my lifestyle as a conversation video. Then I will be eager to tell you more. And if not, just unsubscribe or do whatever you like. I'm totally fine with it. See you next time. Bye bye. I'm Theo.